Okay, yes, I missed a recording for episode 4 of Harley Quinn, but I had not much to say about that episode. But to get my thoughts across on that episode, it was Harley trying to find a nemesis, and she kind of did. She kind of did, but not really, honestly, because, I wouldn't say that, but you know, um, she went and I remember a bit of this, but Ivy got evicted from her place because apparently the new recruit of the team is King Shark, and and apparently the her landlord, Ivy's landlord, says she's evicted because she's having pets in her house. And apparently the pet was King Shark, because King Shark is basically an animal or mammal, whatever you want to call it, fish, guy, creature, thing. And basically the whole episode was just about Harley trying to find a nemesis, and then Damian, who is Batman's son, who is Robin. I'm not kidding. Damian's his son. Yeah, Batman actually had a kid. Funny, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't know there was a Robin that was legit his kid in the canon, but he actually has a kid. Holy shit. So the jokes were funny in that one. I liked it, where they all started fighting in this like talk show host show, basically. And she was like, oh shit, we're getting all this coverage right now. And apparently Harley's mad that she robbed like a huge bank that was a big deal, and no one's like covering it with the news, because basically everyone said like, oh, Joker robbed a bank that was just like a poor people bank, like a golden one or something. Not a big major bank or something. And everyone's like, oh, look, that's the news story, because, it's Batman and Joker. Come on, why wouldn't we be covering it? And so Harley tries to find a nemesis. She steals a Batmobile. Instead, she gets Damian. And Damian's jealous that he couldn't get a freaking nemesis. And Batman tells him, like, hey, I didn't get my first nemesis until I was in my late 20s. And I'm like, why are you playing this out like a relationship? Like, I knew my first time when I had my first nemesis, and your first nemesis must be special. I'm like, you're making it sound like having a girlfriend or something. Like, the fuck? Batman, what are you doing? It was so weird and silly. And then Damian's like, so how old would I be when I have sex? And like, Batman's like, oh, look at the time. Is that the bat signal? Gotta go. It was silly. It was just silly. But that was the episode, and now it's time for episode 5 of Harley Quinn being Harley Quinn. And I think this is one of my favorite episodes, because I don't know, maybe it's because it speaks the millennial in me. That's why. And that's why it got me. And I was like watching this episode, and it was like, oh, we delve into Harley Quinn's mind, and you can see all her memories from her being a kid and her fucked up childhood. Basically, Harley Quinn was not a sane person, basically. Even when she was with Joker, like before she was Joker, is a girlfriend, before he was part of Joker's crew. Apparently she always has been that crazy, because she stalked, she had this super crush on Frankie Muniz. I don't know if anyone's gonna know who Frankie Muniz is. If no one knows, he's the guy. He's that kid actor from the 2000s. You know, Malcolm in the Middle, Big Fat Liar, Agent Cody Banks, all that. That's what I remember when I was young. He's still, and yes, they actually did get Frankie Muniz to play himself. It's like 11-year-old Craig. He's like 11-year-old Frankie Muniz. Oh my God, he saved us. Because Harley is trapped in her own mind because he tried to infiltrate a memory, and Frankie Muniz basically helps because Harley Quinn had a crush on him. And she goes into great detail what she would have done to him if once they become of age. And let me tell you this, I'm not gonna spoil it, but Harley goes through yandere levels of crazy. Saying like, hey, you know, like once we were like of age and such, I would have told him I was on the pill, but I'm actually not, so I can actually have his children. I was like, Jesus Christ, Harley. And then they go to her island of repressed memories, and then Harley looks at one where she reads a restraining order like, if you violate the restraining order of Frankie Muniz again, you will be detained. And then Harley's like, so that's why I went to juvie. I lost it at that. But basically this whole thing was hilarious. Like, it appealed to the millennial in me. And it shows Harley is still not over Joker. Oh shit, I dropped my phone. This shows that Harley's still not over Joker, but after the end of this episode, I think she's finally over Joker. She's finally over her ex-boyfriend. She's finally gonna be her own villain and not rely on the asshole who made her the way she is, or as she thought that, he was the cause of the me falling down in the vat of acid. He wasn't. It was her choice, because I was like, I knew that. We knew this already because of that goddamn Suicide Squad movie. But yeah, and Harley finally gets a lair in this episode, and now I don't know what else is gonna happen in the story, but I feel like we're nearing the end almost. We're like at the halfway point already of this show, because this is a 13-episode season, so let's hope the show continues, because I really like it. I really do enjoy it. It's a really good show. And I thought this was good. I thought this actually developed more of Harley as a character, where she's like, do I really want this to be my origin story? The origin story of how I became Harley Quinn. And then she realizes, yeah, Joker didn't make her. She made herself, because it was always been her choice. Always her decision. And she decided that her origin story was the day that she, legit broke up with Joker. And finally leaving and going away from him. Like, she points that out as her origin story of being her own villain, getting away from the Joker, and that's it. Being her own villain, and not letting Joker be the definition of her origin story. Which I found pretty awesome, because fuck that origin story. The real origin story is when you decide to be your own villain. And I thought that was cool. So I love the development of character that they're giving for Harley in this show. I love that they are actually showing more of her. They're actually building on her character more and focusing on her, because this is her show. This is her origin. And if there's going to be more character development for Harley, then I'm all on board of it. I'm on board for whatever they're going to do next for the character, or whatever they're going to do for the characters in the show. Are they going to give them their own background story? Because, you know, we don't know much more about the characters. We've been following Harley's origins more than the other characters. I mean, I get it. It's her show, but come on. You might want to know more about the other characters. But to be fair, half of this show is in Harley's perspective, so we don't know. Anyway, yeah, so far a good episode. I actually love this development of character for Harley, and hope they start building more on Harley to see if she becomes a well-known villain to all of Gotham and the world. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Ciao, darlings.
You came home late again, Nick. Smelling like alcohol and whore.
She's just a friend from work. Stop breathing down my neck, Sharon.
Can't breathe down what's not there, you cocksucker.
Ow, ow, ow! Ow! Ow!